So welcome everyone. I'm Stephen Miller. I'm the Director of Cybersecurity Center of Excellence and a professor at Eastern New Mexico University in Ruidoso, New Mexico. We're a community college. In New Mexico, you have to be tied to a university system after 1970 community college. So we're not really a university, we're a branch community college of the university system. So I've done these fast pitches before, so I'm going to share the whole presentation. I'll just keep it on the slide, if that's okay with everybody. But so I'm not going to have a whole lot of slides either. So I know what we don't have a lot of time. So we have a course that was developed back in 2010 and has evolved since that time. Our advisory committee for our IT and cybersecurity programs contained government and industry and academia, and our Fortune 100 partners would not certify our certificate or our degree program unless we added a cyber ethics, professionalism, and career development course. So that's kind of what I'm going to talk about. This is actually shareable. It's free to anyone that wants the curriculum. We've shared it several times. We've also shared it as part of a TAC grant, to Department of Labor grant. So this is open source information. So what we cover, the goals was looking at cyber ethics, professionalism, and career development. The first 7 weeks of this course, teach it as a 16-week course, which is what we normally do, although once in a while it's in the summer, is all geared around ethics. And in those weeks, the topics that we cover in the cyber ethics area is the internet and ethical values. So that part is covered, and kind of talking about ethical values and the different cyber and the different ethical processes that are out there, like Lessig's norms and those type of things, even the golden rule, if you want to get down to something as basic as that. It's a very interesting feedback we get from different students in this course. I haven't taught this course in several semesters. It's taught by one of our adjuncts, but I did develop the course. Also, we cover regulatory and government network technologies. So not only in the U.S., but we talk a lot about the European and the international norms and regulations and laws. And if you've ever, some of that is tied to my experience, where I've actually, when I worked for ExxonMobil, we were consolidating data centers, and we found out that, like in Europe, like in Germany, for example, you cannot, there's certain information about employees that can't be shared on the same databases, on the same physical hardware. So those are the kind of things we talk about in there. We talk about free speech and censorship in cyberspace. We cover the intellectual property of cyberspace, which is a big activity. I know the NICE and the NIST is looking at a framework around the privacy and intellectual property. And that ties into this the privacy rights and surveillance. So this is a big deal. Of course, we tied that into social media and those activities. You know, there's a lot going on in the news of the last, I'd say the last few years, about how social media can help you and then how it can hurt you. Also, with the big tech companies, they're getting a lot of kickback on their own governance of how they handle privacy and sharing of information. Then we cover securing the digital infrastructure and how what processes could be put in place, and what are your responsibilities as a cybersecurity professional. What areas, and we actually have in the 7th week of this a, a scenario that the students have to go through, and they get presented with different cases of if you're in this role, should you do this, or should if you have access to financial data or human resources data as a systems analyst, are you the ethics kind of tie into that? How do you handle seeing private information? So we kind of get into those kind of basic type things. Some of this was provided from our advisory committee industry partners about what areas they would like us to look at. Another area is like in the custody of data, and who's the owner and who's the custodian. So it kind of ties into those same things too. Then we got to go into the professionalism. So in professionalism, we actually cover the norms and the cultures of a company, and we also look at scenario-based learning. So we have several things in that area, like, for example, how do you present yourself professionally, not only for interviews, but also for in the workplace. You know, you can sometimes it's there's scenarios on dress for success, or you know, when is it okay to wear your casual clothes to work, or in some cases maybe you're out in the field or something, so it's okay to wear. When I say field, maybe you're working in a energy environment and you're out at a tank farm, it's okay to wear blue jeans. Then we talk about the developing professional work ethics. Again, being on time. And believe me, a lot of times we have issues with these norms, you might say, that students will actually question why I have to do this or why do I have to do that. For example, we had one scenario where it was presented that this person was getting married. They'd been on the job for two months. The policies of the company is that you could take vacation after 6 months worth of work. So the scenario was, you need to ask your boss if you can get the time off for a 1 week honeymoon, and the boss says no. So what do you do? Well, we had several students said they just quit. So those are the kind of things that we try to cover in those activities. Also, developing interpersonal skills and teamwork. So we have several scenarios where we're talking about the teamwork, and they actually have projects that they work together in, and they get assigned different roles in the team, and kind of do a players type roles in that session. And then winning at the office politics is a real interesting one, what we try to do. And of course, coming from industry, I can relate to a lot of this stuff. So we gave them some real life industry examples of politics in the office space. And then we also talk about the fact that a key thing that helps in teamwork and provides a better answer to problems is diversity. So we have little scenarios about diversity and teamwork and strengths of different types of people's strengths that you can leverage in the workplace. So then the last area is this career development. And so it's kind of being self-awareness, thinking about your life journey and where you're going. I mean, I'm on my third career, or actually fourth if I count the military, since I've entered the workplace. And so we get the students thinking about their self-awareness, where they're going, Briggs-Myers activity, where they can kind of understand what they like and what they would fit well in, We also cover the different pathways in cybersecurity, and not just cybersecurity, but how you can, those pathways tied with nice work roles. And then we help students understand about networking. I tell them, like, my first job was not from what I knew as a computer programmer. My dad knew contract manager for NASA, and I went to work there because he knew him. And then I got the interview, and of course, what I knew technically got the job, but still, you have to know that network. And then a key thing that we've just incorporated as part of a CAE project that we're working with at one of these recent grants is the Workkeys. So the way the Workkeys go in this is that students take this National Career Readiness Certificate exam, and it covers, and we base it off of ACT, the same ACT that does the ACT testing. They've actually gone out and looked at different job roles through ONET, for example, and they look at the information systems analysts, and they've interviewed over 60 different professionals in the industry, and they've come up with a list of their what's important as far as medium skills, minimum skills, and maximum level skills in applied math, workplace documents, graphic literacy, applied technology, business writing, and then workplace observations. And then they get a certificate. They can get a bronze, silver, gold, and platinum after they go through the Workkeys training. After they have their pre-test, and they take their post-exam, and that gets them job preparation. And also, we include the resume and interviewing scenarios in there as well. So really quick, so I'm not going to go over all these. I think it's going to be available, but we have like 7 course objectives for the students, and again, this is an understanding the traditional, and I'm just about out of time anyway, so let me just go to, if there's any questions, I'll try to answer those real quick. See if the chat.
Yeah, it looks like Jim Porch has a question there. Do you see that?
Okay, let's see.
He's asking, do you teach this course in the beginning of the program or towards the end of the program?
It's taught at the end of the program. It's it's an IS in our numbering system, so it'd be Information Systems 258. So it's one of the last courses in the certificate. It's one of the last courses in the certificate. Well, actually, we have the capstone class and this class all at the same time. Any other questions? It's been really successful for our students. I think they come out of this with non-traditional students that you get in a community college. The non-traditional students that are in the working group help the ones coming out of high school, the newbies. So I think that's all the time I have. So